September 14th, 2019, 11:47 p.m., Route 9, just outside Boston. Daniel Flaherty, 28 years old, was driving home from his shift at Ladder Company 15. He was a firefighter, a hero, someone who ran into danger while everyone else ran out. But that night, on a quiet stretch of Route 9, Daniel crossed the center line. Head-on collision with an oncoming vehicle. He died at the scene. The other driver survived with serious injuries. The police report called it a vehicular accident. His family called it a tragedy. His co-workers called it completely out of character. But 6 months later, when Daniel's mother was cleaning out his apartment, she found something that changed everything. A journal. And in that journal, Daniel had been documenting a secret he was too ashamed to tell anyone, a battle he was fighting alone, a war inside his own mind that he was losing. This is Daniel Flaherty's story, and it's a story about how silence kills and how one conversation could have saved his life.
Daniel Patrick Flaherty was born on March 3, 1991 in Dorchester, Massachusetts. Irish Catholic family. Middle child. 2 brothers, Sean and Patrick. His dad, Michael, was also a firefighter. 30 years with the Boston Fire Department. Daniel grew up at the station. He'd do his homework in the break room while his dad was on shift. He learned to cook chili for 40 guys before he learned to drive. Everyone who knew Daniel said the same thing. He was born to be a firefighter. He joined the Boston Fire Academy right out of high school, graduated top of his class in 2009. At 18 years old, he was the youngest in his cohort. For the next 10 years, Daniel was exactly who he was supposed to be. He worked Ladder Company 15 in Roxbury, one of the busiest firehouses in Boston. He ran into burning buildings. He pulled people from car wrecks. He performed CPR on overdose victims in alleyways. He saved lives. In 2017, he was awarded a Medal of Valor for rescuing 3 children from a 3rd-floor apartment fire. The building was fully engulfed. The staircase had collapsed. Daniel climbed the exterior fire escape with 80 pounds of gear on his back and pulled those kids out one by one through a window. The mayor shook his hand. His picture was in the Boston Globe. His father cried at the ceremony. "That's my boy," Michael said. "That's my Danny." Daniel was engaged to his high school sweetheart, Melissa. They were planning a wedding for summer 2020. She worked as a pediatric nurse at Boston Children's Hospital. They'd bought a condo in Brighton. They had a golden retriever named Murphy. By all accounts, Daniel Flaherty had everything. But what nobody knew, not his fiancée, not his brothers, not his father, not his crew, was that Daniel was drowning. It started in March 2019, 6 months before he died. Daniel's journal, found later by his mother, documents it clearly. The first entry is dated March 8, 2019. Had a weird thought driving to shift today. Saw a semi-truck in the opposite lane, and my brain said, what if I just turned into it? Not like I want to die, just like, what if I did? Scared the shit out of me. Probably just tired. For the next few weeks, Daniel brushed it off. Random thought. Everyone has them. Move on. But the thoughts didn't move on. They got worse. March 22nd, 2019. It happened again. Every truck, every time. It's like my brain is showing me a movie of me crashing. I can see it in detail, feel it, the impact, the metal, everything. Why am I thinking this? What's wrong with me? April 5th, 2019. Driving to work is becoming a nightmare. I have to grip the steering wheel so tight my hands hurt. I switched to back roads even though it adds 20 minutes. Can't risk the highway. Too many trucks, too many opportunities to... Fuck. Why am I like this? April 19th, 2019. Melissa asked why I'm so quiet lately. I wanted to tell her. I opened my mouth, but how do I say I'm having thoughts about driving into oncoming traffic and I don't know how to make them stop. She'll think I'm suicidal. She'll think I'm crazy. I said I was just tired from work. This is what psychologists call the call of the void, l'appel du vide, or in Daniel's case, it was escalating into something more clinical, intrusive thoughts related to anxiety and OCD. But Daniel didn't know that. He didn't know it was common. He didn't know it was treatable. He thought he was losing his mind. May 2019. I can't be a firefighter if I'm going crazy. What if I have these thoughts on a call? What if I freeze up? What if I get someone killed because my brain is broken? I can't tell anyone. I'd lose my job. I'd lose everything. The shame was suffocating him. Daniel started avoiding his crew. He'd eat alone. He stopped going to the bar after shift. He made excuses to skip family dinners. He told Melissa he was picking up extra shifts, but really he was driving around for hours, trying to practice being near highways, trying to prove to himself he could control the thoughts. It didn't work. June 14th, 2019. I'm terrified of my own brain. I don't trust myself anymore. What if one day the thought wins? What if I actually do it? I need help, but I can't ask for it. Firefighters don't have breakdowns. We're supposed to be the strong ones. Dad would be so ashamed if he knew. The shame was suffocating him. By summer 2019, Daniel was barely sleeping. He'd lost 15 pounds. His captain noticed. "Flaherty, you good?" "Yeah, Cap, all good. Just training for a marathon." He wasn't training for anything. He was falling apart. August 2019. The journal entries become more desperate. August 3rd. I think I might actually be suicidal, but I don't want to die. I love Melissa. I love my family. I love my job. But these thoughts are so loud now that I can't tell the difference between thinking about it and wanting it. I'm so confused. This is the critical distinction Daniel didn't understand. Intrusive thoughts versus suicidal ideation. Intrusive thoughts, unwanted, distressing. You fight them. They horrify you. Suicidal ideation, wanted or accepted. You make plans. You feel relief thinking about it. You may feel hopeless. Daniel was experiencing intrusive thoughts, but because he didn't know that, he started to believe he was suicidal, and that belief isolated him even more. August 20th. I looked up therapists today. Then I closed the tab. What do I even say? Hi, I'm a firefighter who's afraid of driving. I save people for a living, but I can't save myself. It sounds insane even writing it. August 30th. Melissa set a wedding date, June 13th, 2020. I should be happy. I am happy. But there's this voice that says, you won't make it to that wedding. You're going to lose control and crash, and she'll have to bury you instead of marry you. I hate my brain. September 1st. I'm exhausted. I can't keep living like this. I need help. Tomorrow. I'm going to tell someone tomorrow. But he didn't. September 5th. I chickened out. I was going to talk to the department psychologist, but what if it goes in my file? What if they put me on desk duty? What if everyone finds out? I can't. I just have to push through this. September 10th. 4 more days and it'll be 6 months of this hell. Maybe it'll just go away on its own. Maybe I'm making it worse by focusing on it. I just need to stop being weak and deal with it. The final entry in Daniel's journal is dated September 13th, 2019, the day before he died. I don't know how much longer I can do this. The thoughts are winning. I'm so tired of fighting. I'm so tired of pretending I'm okay. I'm so tired. If something happens, I want people to know I tried. I tried so hard to fight this alone. I'm sorry I wasn't strong enough to ask for help. September 14th, 1919. Daniel's shift at Ladder 15 was routine. 3 calls, 1 medical assist, 1 car accident, minor, 1 false alarm at a hotel. His crewmates said he seemed normal, maybe quieter than usual, but Daniel had been quiet for months. Nobody thought anything of it. Shift ended at 11 p.m. Daniel changed out of his gear. He texted Melissa, "Heading home. Love you." She texted back, "Love you more. See you soon. Murphy misses you." That was the last communication. At 11:47 p.m., Daniel was driving eastbound on Route 9. It was a clear night. No rain, no ice, good visibility. Witnesses in cars behind him said his driving seemed fine, until suddenly it wasn't. He drifted across the center line. No braking, no swerving back, just a smooth, deliberate drift into the westbound lane. Head-on collision with a pickup truck. Daniel died on impact. The other driver, a 54-year-old construction worker named Tom Riley, survived with a broken pelvis, fractured ribs, and a traumatic brain injury. He spent 3 weeks in the ICU. The crash investigators found no mechanical failure in Daniel's vehicle, no evidence of alcohol or drugs, no phone activity at the time of the crash, no medical emergency. The conclusion in the report: driver crossed center line for unknown reasons, possible fatigue, accident. But it wasn't an accident.
Daniel's mother found the journal 6 months later, in March 2020. She was packing up his apartment. Melissa couldn't do it. The grief was too much. In a box under his bed, along with old Fire Academy certificates and photos, she found the journal. She read it, and she wept. And then she did something incredibly brave. She shared it with Daniel's captain, with the Boston Fire Department, with a local mental health advocacy group. "My son was sick," she told a reporter, "and he thought he had to hide it. He thought asking for help made him weak, and that shame killed him." If one firefighter, one person, reads about Danny and decides to get help, it may be his death means something. Daniel Flaherty didn't have to die. If he had spoken to a therapist, here's what would have happened. First, he would have been screened for suicidal ideation, and a trained professional would have recognized immediately these are intrusive thoughts, not suicidal plans. This is anxiety. This is OCD. This is treatable. Second, he would have been started on treatment, most likely cognitive behavioral therapy, specifically exposure and response prevention, ERP, an SSRI medication like Zoloft or Lexapro, education about intrusive thoughts and the call of the void. Third, within 6 to 12 weeks, the thoughts would have lost their power. Daniel would have learned, these are just thoughts. They don't control me. I can have the thought and not act on it. He'd still be alive. He'd have married Melissa on June 13th, 2020. He'd still be saving lives at Ladder 15. But Daniel never made that call because he was ashamed, because he thought mental health struggles made him weak, because he thought firefighters had to be invincible. And that belief killed him. After Daniel's death, the Boston Fire Department implemented mandatory mental health training for all firefighters. They brought in speakers to talk about intrusive thoughts, PTSD, anxiety, depression. They made it clear, getting help is not weakness, it's survival. Daniel's father, Michael, the 30-year veteran firefighter, spoke at one of the trainings. "My son was the bravest person I knew," he said, his voice breaking. "He ran into fires without hesitation, but he couldn't tell me he was struggling, and I failed him because I never asked. I never made it safe for him to be anything other than strong. Don't be like me. Ask your guys how they're really doing, and don't accept 'I'm fine' as an answer, because my Danny said he was fine right up until the night he died." Daniel Flaherty was 28 years old. He was a firefighter, a son, a brother, a fiancé. He was a hero who saved lives. But he couldn't save himself because he thought he had to fight alone. If you're experiencing intrusive thoughts about driving, about jumping, about harming yourself or others, please know you are not crazy. You are not weak. You are not alone. These thoughts are symptoms. They're treatable. One conversation with a mental health professional can change everything. Don't let shame kill you like it killed Daniel. Resources: 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Crisis Text Line. Text HOME to 741-741. Rest in peace, Daniel Patrick Flaherty. March 3rd, 1991. September 14th, 2019.